Animal and marine life along our coastline are at risk from elevated red tide levels right now.
Yeah, that threat stretches as wide as 50 miles. Both fish in the water and birds on the beach are dying. You're watching 10 Tampa Bay at 5. I'm Courtney Robinson.
And I'm Josh Sidorowicz. When red tide starts to show up in Tampa Bay, wildlife refuge centers start getting calls. 10 Tampa Bay's Malik Rankin joins us live now from Venice Beach, where those red tide levels there remain high. Malik.
Earlier this week, we showed you images of beaches just lined with dead fish. In the days since, the beaches have since been cleared, but not before some birds made a bad dinner decision.
When red tide exposure is severe enough, birds are barely able to stand.
Start to get phone calls that birds are on the beach wobbling, they're kind of staggering, having a drunk appearance.
So how does this happen? When fish are exposed to red tide and die, those toxins can become a part of a bird's next meal.
And then the birds eat the fish and they get exposed to it. And then it seems to affect the larger birds first because they're out to sea eating the fish, and then they'll trickle in.
It really much is a neurotoxin, and they will be uncoordinated in their swimming. Sometimes they will barrel roll. It's almost like they can't figure out which direction is up, so that they often won't make it to the surface to breathe.
She's talking about manatees, and sea turtles and dolphins are at risk too. Moat Marine Lab has already gotten calls of dead sea animals.
We've recovered over the last couple of weeks 3 sea turtles that we are suspicious of.
In some cases, the red tide exposure is obvious.
When we open them up, you can sometimes even smell the red tide inside of them.
The Wildlife Center of Southwest Florida says if people don't call to report sick birds,
unfortunately, if left untreated, most of those birds will die.
For the animals beneath the surface, most times it's recovery, not rescue.
Unfortunately, a lot of times it's really a carcass recovery effort.
If you see a bird that looks hurt or injured or even sick, wildlife experts recommend call your local center right away. They'll walk you through what to do. The same goes for sea turtles, manatees, and dolphins. Live on Venice Beach, Malik Rankin, 10 Tampa Bay.
And the Wildlife Center of Southwest Florida has taken in and treated 75,000 animals over the years. A big part of what makes that possible, though, volunteers. So they are always in need of more helping hands. And if you'd like to learn more about how you can get involved, you can go to 10tampabay.com.
And FWC just released its latest red tide map in over a week, which will help wildlife teams narrow down areas to focus. You can see Sarasota and Manatee counties. They have concentrations right there, but the severity of the problem, it centers around Sarasota. That's where those red dots are, the high concentrations. Compared to last week, red tide blooms have gotten better in Charlotte and Lee counties, obviously worse here in Tampa Bay.